Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gamer Social Club Weekly News Podcast. We are recording on Thursday, the 4th of September, 2025. I am your host, as always, Harry, aka Knavish Crayfish. And joining me this week, I've got no empathy, only daggers. It's Lady V. How are you doing, V?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, doing okay. Yeah.
Excellent. And we've got a new face with us. Actually, the newest member of the Gamer Social Club team, our newest writer to join us, Dara. Thanks very much for joining us today, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Excellent.
A new
Yeah.
member of the beautiful accent gang, as Steve would call us. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. He likes.
I worry
He
that I
likes.
have too much of an American twinge to sound Irish sometimes. Some people think I'm Canadian, but no, I'm Irish.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
don't think you sound Canadian. I think you're fine. Like I
Yeah.
get the Irish. I pick up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you'd said like, "Oh, I'm Canadian" before jumping on the call instead of like telling us beforehand you were Irish, I may have gone like, "Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah," but I don't know. Like, so knowing you were Irish coming to us, I was like, "No,
I
he
say
sounds like how I
about
expected him
the same
to."
way. I say
Yeah.
about the same way as Canadian people. So
Oh,
Okay. That's what it
about.
is.
yeah. I don't know. I
Right?
don't know if Daniel listens to the podcast, but he'll be like,
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, Canadian website.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't even make the connection there.
It's all tying up. All the loose ends are tying up. But
Mm.
yeah, we are here today to bring you another episode of the Weekly News Podcast, and we are going to be talking about the 007 State of Play, which we had yesterday. We are also going to talk a bit about exclusivity, what with the release of Helldivers 2 on Xbox, alongside the release of Gears of War Reloaded on PlayStation. And we are also then going to talk about this little thing that's going on right now, the release of Silksong. You may have heard of it, of course. That is the joke that everyone's running with, and I will too. But before we get into all of that, of course, we have our rigmarole. If you are a previous listener or watcher, hello, thanks for coming back again for another episode. If you are new here, though, we are the Gamer Social, or at least some of the members of the Gamer Social Club, a website that is by gamers for gamers, where we cover video games with all things news, reviews, previews, interviews, guides, editorials, and anything else we can think of over on our website, www.gamersocialclub.ca. Of course, this is our YouTube here, our YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to if you'd like to keep up with all of our content here as well. We have our weekly news podcast that you're listening to right now. We also have the party chat that happens on the weekends with Nathan and Phrase. And then we have Girl Pod with Lady V again and Candy, which is released every Monday. We also sprinkle out our guide videos out every now and then as well. So there's always some stuff coming up on the channel. So it's always worth checking in. If you enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like. And if you have anything you'd like to share with us, any feedback or comments, drop it in the comment section below. And like I said before, consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. There are three things you need to know about our site, about the Gamer Social Club. One, we are a grassroots, fully independent team and website that's fueled by our passion for video games and wanting to share that with all of you. Number two, we finish every game that we review. We roll credits on anything that we can. If we can't, we will play it as much as we can before we give you our final verdict on the game and our score and our reviews. And thirdly, we run all of our news through a rumor-free filter. So any news you see reported on by us, you can guarantee is factual and is based on real news as opposed to hearsay on the internet, social media, you know, speculation, all manner of things like that. We will try our absolute best to make sure that whatever news we are writing and delivering to you is actual news, and we will keep it up to date as best we can as the stories progress, if need be. Of course, you can follow us on all the socials as well. The Gamer Social Club is on things like Twitter/X, it's on Blue Sky, it's on Threads. You can just search for us there. Normally just for Gamer Social Club, that we should turn up for that, as well as all of our own individual socials that will be available. You can follow us all there if you want to keep up with what we're up to. Anything that we talk about today, and including everything that I've just talked about, will be down in the description below. So we'll link you to any articles that we mentioned from our site. And if you'd like to see any of our work, please do go over to the site. We do a lot of great stuff over there. We've got quite a few reviews. I think that just come out, will be coming out
So many. There's so many reviews. Like, if you're interested in games that are not Silksong, because the review's not up yet, because obviously Team Cherry didn't give out review keys as they should. The backers come first, absolutely. But yeah, there's loads of reviews on the site at the moment. So for anything else, go over to the site and see all of our reviews.
Yeah. There's a lot of reviews, and there's a bunch of guides as well. We've got a whole host of guides, especially for games like Hell Is Us, where we've got, I think, upwards of 18 guides, I think it is now, that Adam's done.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why he's not on this episode today is because he is cracking on with Hell Is Us. But at the same time, yeah, we've got our Cronos, The New Dawn review out. We've got our first guide for it, which I literally finished, I think, moments before we jumped on this to do our episode today, which is for the Cat Finder achievement. I wonder if you can guess what that's for. But yeah, otherwise, please go over and check out the website. We've got loads of stuff there. And Daire has written quite a lot of material himself. But Daire, what was the most recent review you've done? So you've done one or two for us already?
Oh, me?
Yeah. Sorry, I called
oh,
you Daire, didn't I meant Dara, sorry.
I was confused for a second.
Sorry.
Yeah, I reviewed the Nightling.
That's right.
That's the only review I've done so far. But yeah, I did the Nightling, which, you know, the version I played needed work. That was kind of the census, I think, on that one.
Yeah. It was one of those that its scores were all over the place. Like you scored it, what was it, a 5 out of 10? If I remember
I gave
correctly?
it a 5, yeah.
Yeah. And yours wasn't the lowest. That's the thing. Like I think V and I had already seen there was like someone who'd scored it like a 4 out of 10, or maybe even like a 3. But then there was somebody who'd scored it like a 10 out of 10. So it's a really that game in particular has really spanned like the bracket.
I think it had a lot of issues on console. So I think there's a big split between the PC version and obviously the console, because you played it on Xbox, didn't you, Dara? Yeah.
Yes, I played it. I played the Xbox version, but I watched, just to be sure, I watched some footage of the PC version, and it looked like that version was like everything I wished I was playing, because the Xbox version had 30 frames a second, but heavy input lag. That was my issue with it. There was just double jumping felt awful, and it's very platformer, like it's very much a platformer and combat focused, and that just made it took the whole game down with it, having that input lag. And it was a very unoptimized experience. This kind of the way I summed it up. It's just, it needed more work specifically on that version. I don't know if that's true of the PlayStation version. I think that version might be a little better, but from what I saw, they were pretty similar. But I obviously can't tell if the input lag issue is on that one because I haven't played it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones I was looking forward to. Actually, before you joined the team, I was sort of writing about that and championing it as far as games I wanted to cover to Dano, being like, hey, let's get a code for this. This looks really interesting. This looks exciting. And I played and gave a demo impressions of it. And at that, when I was playing that, of course, I was playing it on PC via Steam. So no issues like that whatsoever to know about. So, unfortunately, I would have had a awful time of then reviewing it as well, just being like, oh, this is not what I was promised if we're playing it on a console.
That's the thing. So, I was looking forward to it myself as well, which is why I took the code. I was like, no, I wouldn't mind, I was going to play it, but then a lot of stuff was happening, coming out and stuff. And I was like, okay, this one would have flown past me if I had not reviewed it. But unfortunately, it was just, I don't know. I think I would have maybe been better off waiting for a patch. But also I haven't seen a lot of other reviews of the console versions, so I feel like I hope my review will hopefully inspire the developers maybe to just take another look and optimize if they see it. Just because I wouldn't recommend that version of it. I think there is a good game like underlying there, like it's charming, it's got a cute story, it's got a cool traversal mechanic, but again, none of that ever felt satisfying because of the input delay. Like, it feels like without that, the traversal, and there's like this mechanic where you slide on the shield and stuff, that all would have felt really cool had it not been 30 frames, but then also the input lag.
The whole thing just feels clunky and just sort of never satisfying,
Yeah.
That's a shame. as you say, hopefully they're able to patch that and get it to a state where it's similar to what it's like on PC from the side of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a little bit of that was our rigmarole, and maybe even a little bit of what we've been playing, which is always our first segment.
Yeah.
So let's roll straight on into that with V. What have you been playing?
So I've not been playing a huge amount this week, but what I have been playing is a game that Addy mentioned that he had been playing last week called Kill the Brickman. And I can't believe he's done this to me again. Just being like, oh, there's this fun little roguelike that you could check out, and it's only like, it's super cheap. I think it was like a $5, if that. And then I just sat down on my lunch break on Tuesday, I think, to play it, and played it for the full hour and didn't even get to eat any lunch. I was like, Addy, I can't believe you've done this. Like,
look what you made me do.
Look what you made me do. You made me get sucked into another really addictive roguelike. But yeah, it's super, super fun. As Addy mentioned last week, it's like a brick breaker sort of thing, but you don't have anything at the bottom that you can bounce your bullets off of. You have like a gun, you set up, you get multiple chambers for your gun, so you can use it to set up special bonuses for your bullets if you set them out in very specific ways. And then you ricochet them all over the map to kill these little block guys called brickmen. The visuals are weird. It's a weird game. I'm not gonna lie. It's a very weird game. Some of the sound effects also incredibly strange, but it's very addictive. It's by a team called Donotasaur. It's like Donotasaur, maybe. And it's published by Poncle, the Vampire Survivor guys. So they've obviously got an eye for what makes a really weird little roguelike scratch that specific itch at the back of my brain that says, just do another run, just do one more, it'll be fine. Like, you don't have a meeting, just you can hear Teams from the other room in case someone messages you. I hope no one I work with is listening to this. Like, just like me, just ignoring my laptop for work so I can just sit and play Steam games. So yeah, I've been playing that. I've been playing a little bit of Is This Seat Taken, which Sean has done a lot of good guides for if you're struggling. Yes. It is a very fun game. The puzzles are, I assume there's loads of different ways you can solve them. And I've not found it overly challenging as of yet. I've never been hard stuck on something being like, I don't know where to put this person who apparently can't stand bad smells but refuses to shower.
Wow.
Yeah, so you get like all the little shapes, and there is a nice little storyline running through it, but they all have their own certain requirements of where they want to sit. So, and a lot of them, it's just like, I forgot to shower today, and they have like a little cloud of like smell around them. And if you put them next to someone who's like, I don't like bad smells, they're like, stinky, which is quite funny. But also there is a lot of them that are like, I don't like bad smells, but I also forgot to shower. And I'm like, that seems rude. Like, you've now just done this to someone else. Like, you knew you were going to a party and you forgot to shower. Like, this is inappropriate. But yeah, I've been playing a little bit of that. I have downloaded the game On Guard, but I've not got a chance to play it yet. But I'm quite excited to play that. I've been looking forward to that for a while. It was on a Steam sale. I got it for like £4. So
yes,
yeah, but that's me.
We were coming back from Gamescom.
It was, yeah. We got it from a keys website for Steam on the way back from Gamescom, and then immediately once we got back from Gamescom, Steam put it on sale anyway, and it's just like,
yeah,
all right.
That's how it is. You took one for the team on that one.
Yeah,
that means everybody else gets it on sale now.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, there's lots of people buying this on sale. Maybe we should just put it on sale on Steam. Like, yeah, but it looks super fun. I think I saw it on a Iron Pineapple video a long time ago. For what his series, like Steam Dumpster Diving, where he does Souls-likes, but he no longer just does Souls-like. It's just like basically anything with a stamina bar, I think.
Or a dodge roll.
And it looks super fun. It's all about like parrying, and you can like throw tables and stuff at people. Like, it looks super fun. So I'm excited to play that this week. If I ever get any time, because obviously there's lots of reviews and I edit all of the reviews for the site. So if there's any time after tomorrow, which I think there's like 6 games coming out tomorrow. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So even with all the games being pushed out by Silksong, I still think tomorrow might be the busiest day in September, or it's a day maybe like the 16th or something. There were 2 days in September which are really stacked.
For me, the end of the month is crazy. There's like 2 days at the end of the month where there's like Silent Hill, Sonic Racing,
Oh yeah.
Pac-Man World, and Hotel Barcelona. But those are all games that I'm interested. They might not.
Oh, but
They might actually be crazy for everyone.
Yeah, that Hotel Barcelona looks really cool because that's the next
Yeah,
crossover
I'm
manufacturer game, isn't it?
It's Suda or no, it's Swery. It's Suda and Swery.
It's both.
But-
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's Swery's studio making it. So it's the it's the studio that makes all of Swery's games. But it's Suda, I think, doing character designs and doing like the story behind it, which sounds really cool.
Taking two of the like craziest minds in gaming and just being like, let's get them in a room together and see what they do. That's really cool. Can't wait to see that.
That's the
I actually
25th and the 26th. Those 2 days are stacked.
I wanted to mention actually, I actually bought Is This Seat Taken the day it came out during the indie direct, and I bought it. I started it up, and then my partner looked over my shoulder and said, "Well, what's that?" And then I proceeded to not see my Switch 2 for about 2 or 3 days until she had beaten it. So I've only played a very little bit of that game, but it was really good. It reminded me of like Professor Layton puzzles or something like that. It was really cool. But my partner is an expert on it. She was glued to it for like 2 days straight.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. Yeah, it's very addictive. I downloaded it onto my Steam Deck. So it's my end of the night before I go to bed. And I'm like, I'll just do one. And then I do like a full set of them. And I'm like, go bed. It's 1 a.m. You said you were going to bed. Then I'm like, no, but if I clear Barcelona, I'll be fine. Like I'll go to bed once Barcelona's done. Like it's okay. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's not very expensive, I don't think. And obviously it's on Switch and PC. So very good. The Switch is so good for little indies like that.
I think it's actually on mobile as well. I could be wrong though.
That would be a good platform for it too. I can see that working definitely.
Yeah.
I don't need to buy another game that I own on Steam and mobile. I'm looking at you, Balatro, like and Slay the Spire. Like the 4 different platforms I own Balatro and Slay the Spire on. Like, oh, could we just buy another version? Like, I think I own more versions of Slay the Spire than I own of Skyrim, which is a massive thing, to be honest. Like, it's like
I actually don't
just
think
buy the board game. Like,
my sister, Skyrim's like her favorite game, so I think she always just nicks my copy whenever I have it. So I think I've had about 3 copies of Skyrim that she just stole. And I actually don't think I own a copy of Skyrim right now. I'm probably the only person on the planet that doesn't own Skyrim.
That's like a peak sister energy. Just like this is mine.
No,
like
Skyrim is very much like an older sibling game.
The
Elder Scrolls games in general.
They have that older brother, older sister energy, definitely.
Yeah. Luckily, my sister doesn't play video games, so she doesn't steal any of my stuff. She just calls me a nerd, which is also peak older sister energy. Just like, what are you doing, you little nerd? And I'm like,
she calls me a nerd for playing other video games that aren't Skyrim.
Oh, but not Skyrim.
She bought a Switch just to play Skyrim and Animal Crossing. So
amazing.
And the Disney Animal Crossing game.
Oh, Dreamlight Valley.
One of my favorite meme images, which is the guy sneaking up behind the other guy about to hit him in the head with a pipe, where it's just like one guy labeled nerd, the other guy labeled nerd, and then quotations on the pipe saying "fucking nerd." It's like, what are we doing here? Nerd on nerd.
It's so true though.
It's all projection. It's all projection.
That's it.
I'm a nerd, but I'm not that type of nerd.
Dude, no,
there's always somebody who's a deeper level of nerd than me.
That's it.
That's
I'm a
the
nerd.
level
I
I
don't
hold
play
myself
Magic
to.
the Gathering. Come on, don't be upset.
Nerddom is cut up into lots of different little fiefdoms that are always warring with each other. That's how it works.
I was like that with wrestling for the longest time. I was like, okay, at least I'm not like a wrestling person. And then I got into wrestling for a few months, and then
at least I'm not one
was
of
like,
them.
I can't keep up with all of these things.
I say Magic the Gathering as if the reason I don't look at it is because I know I would get super into it and I would bankrupt myself. Like
the money sink is insane,
and I'm like, this is super fun, and then I'm like, nope. Like you're already addicted to Pokemon cards. You can't have more than one gambling for adults hobby. Like it's not allowed.
Pull your hand away. It's like, not today, Satan.
Yeah, but they've got Final Fantasy now or something. I don't know. I think they moved on already.
No. I can't.
Harry got some Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy cards at Gamescom. I can't say
Are they not
anything.
really
I bought
expensive?
an entire.
They are. They weren't though whilst we were there. They are, but they weren't whilst we were there because again we were in Gamescom, whereas the Euro, so it was a little bit cheaper than what it is here currently in the UK. And
right.
In the UK, they've got them jacked up, really expensive anyway. They're like at least twice, if not like 3 times the price, I think now. Whilst over there, they were pretty close to what I think regular
Market
retail
price.
market prices. So I didn't feel too bad, but I only got like 1 card of any of the ones I actually would have liked because I only want Final Fantasy 9 cards from it, and it's all the Final Fantasies in it. So I was just like it's like 1 from 4, 1 from 8, 1 from 12. Oh, Final Fantasy 9, yeah, keep that one.
Yeah.
1 from 14, 1 from 7. I'm like, I don't care.
All I know is that one of those cards I think spoiled the next remake game. So it can't spoil it. I mean, it's an adaptation of a 1997 game, but I know that the design on the Sephiroth one, people were like, "That's how he's gonna look in the part 3."
Yeah. Right, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I hadn't even thought of that angle. Of course, yeah, they were going to show him in like his final form, which you'd only get at the end of the game. Which
because it's actually drawn by Tetsuya Nomura. So people are saying that's why he's drawn him, like So
well, there you go. Silly Nomura. But yeah, before we really forget why we're here, Daire, what games have you been playing?
So yeah, I've been playing Silksong. I've played a few hours of it. So not enough to really know anything about the game. But yeah, it's so far so to be clear, I played like just over half of Hollow Knight a few years back, and I loved it. I just, it's the kind of game where if you come back to it after a while, you're kind of lost. 100%. So that was the problem I had, although it's a really, really great game. Silksong so far feels like more Hollow Knight, but, definitely I like how the main character, Hornet, she controls very differently to the main character in Hollow Knight. There's a lot more, I guess, like the platforming techniques are kind of fresh. Like she has like a ledge grab, which is very handy because there's like an attack that you do that's like a diagonal slash that bounces you off of enemies when it connects, and that can like go into a ledge grab. So that is like a really satisfying flow to the platforming. And that diagonal slash plays very heavily into like the bosses that I've encountered. They've been very dependent on that for, getting in, doing an attack and getting out. But there seems to have been kind of some changes as well to like how the currency is done. There's like 2 different forms of currency now. One is mainly used for like spending, and that's the one that you lose if you die and then don't get back to your body. And then there's another one that's called like bone fragments, which you actually retain even after death. And I haven't been able to fully find out what they do yet. But it's good. It definitely feels like it's Hollow Knight 2, baby. It's exactly what I think people wanted. I feel like I'll probably stick with this one better than I did with the first one, and then hopefully go back to the first one after that. And obviously, I'm one of the lucky people that actually got to play it for a few hours before everybody else around when it was supposed to release, because there was the whole kerfuffle with Steam and the eShop and everything. I think it actually didn't launch on PlayStation for a few hours. Like I think the PlayStation version just never even went up for a few hours.
Yeah, there's been a bit of, as you say, a kerfuffle over its launch across all different platforms. So it's like the Nintendo eShop being taken down for maintenance in big quotation marks for a period.
Yeah.
Steam obviously just being like, sorry, you can't even visit the page. No can do. It doesn't. It's here, but we can't show you. Crazy traffic, no doubt, obviously, to all of these different storefronts, and them just all struggling to deal with it, all going to one page on each of them.
Yeah. I wonder how it went on Xbox, considering you could pre-install it on Xbox from like last year or something.
Yeah.
So I wonder, because I know a lot of things when they get put on Xbox for pre-install, it's like a tiny amount of the game,
Yeah.
and then it installs it later, like when it goes live. But yeah, I do wonder, because my Xbox hasn't been on today, so I wonder if anyone who's downloaded it via Game Pass and pre-installed it, if they were allowed to just jump in, or they had the same issues.
That was what I was thinking of, because they didn't do pre-orders. They didn't do digital pre-orders at all. And I kind of get the idea is to stop any kind of leak that'll come out, because obviously this is a game where you could very easily leak. I feel like me even just discussing mechanics is going to be considered like spoilers to some people. Or this is, least of all talking about bosses and areas and stuff like that. So I think that was obviously a good call in that regard, but it would have alleviated all of these issues with the storefronts and stuff. I imagine on Xbox, since usually you download like a small packet if you're like preloading and stuff, it's still probably going to send the data right to your console instead of having to go to the store and having to wade through all the errors and all of that stuff. So I imagine it probably worked out a little better there, but I don't know. I didn't play it on Xbox.
Yeah, if anybody has done it who's listening, please do comment below and let us know your experience through the Game Pass side of things. Because again, it is the one subscription service it went on to at launch. So it'd be kind of interesting to know the numbers there as well. As far as Steam is concerned, it has surpassed 500,000 concurrent players, which is crazy. I don't know exactly where it is right now, but that was it a couple of hours ago.
That has to be bigger than Hollow Knight's peak, right? Because I saw a few days ago it was like 300,000 for Hollow Knight.
Absolutely, but yeah, because of course with Hollow Knight, it wasn't like it was an overnight success in the same way that like Silksong was being treated. Because Team Cherry, this was their first game, small Australian studio, 3 guys, 3 friends just wanting to make a game, and they put it out, and I don't know the exact time frame of it, but it wasn't like it. Yeah, it did take a bit of time for it to build like internet kind of rep, I guess. For people to be.
It took a year to come to consoles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the likelihood is that probably wasn't going to happen unless there was enough interest in the game and enough buzz coming around the game. And so I imagine it took it a while to build, but ultimately it did get there. And then finally enough word was out that everyone was just like, "Oh, this game is incredible." It's so many people's favorite game, or their game of the year that year, and so of course leads to Silksong and the 7 to 8 years that we waited for Silksong.
There might be a lot of people as well, kind of similar to, I guess, to my position where, I mean, I played Hollow Knight, but I never finished it. But I know that there's probably a lot of people that actually just jumped in with this one as well. They just skipped over Hollow Knight and just like, I'll just play Silksong and then I'll circle back, So that could be a thing as well.
The 24-hour peak for Hollow Knight on Steam is apparently 71,500 people. So not as high.
In the last 24 hours.
Well, that's the max. That's of all time, I think.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I think, obviously because the owner estimations are like so many, like millions and millions and millions of people own it. But
I think 15 million, they said?
Yeah.
15 million sales altogether? Yeah. It's insane for an indie, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But so I think it's been, it never had that same hype to it the way, because Silksong currently has 500, well, currently it's got 400,000 people playing it. But its all-time peak was 4 hours ago when 500,000. So it was not just like 500,000 people have bought it, like 500,000 people were playing it at once, just on Steam. So I think that the long time of people talking about Hollow Knight as one of the best indies of all time, and then all the hype around Silksong, it's just like, it's definitely, I think it's going to sell more. I think you're absolutely right that there's going to be people 100%. That haven't played Hollow Knight, but because they've been swept up in the hype.
Yeah, and then factor in like Game Pass.
Hollow Knight Void Art Edition is still on Game Pass, isn't it?
I believe so.
That is true. Yeah, I think that's also on PlayStation Plus. 3
years. They just put it on Game Pass and just never took it off. It's kind of weird. Yeah,
well, the thing is with Team Cherry is I think they've literally said like with the development of Silksong, like they never even needed to worry about budget because it was always a case of like we made so much money on Hollow Knight that like, you know, we can just keep going with it, and that's how it took so long, was they just kept going. So I guess having Hollow Knight on Game Pass must just really work out for them somehow.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you know, the game is constantly getting attention, and maybe people are buying it physically then, or buying merch or something.
Yeah,
No doubt.
no, absolutely.
I think Team Cherry have handled this. I think this is almost like a perfect pitch of like how to launch a game and everything like that. From even with everything that's been going on with it, like you obviously don't necessarily want every game to have this 6, 7, 8 year long build up and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with how they've actually just handled the actual launch of it itself, with no codes going out beforehand, everybody getting the game at the same time, especially the fact that they were like, we promised backers that they would get it and they wouldn't have to be behind anybody else. So of course, everyone gets it at the same time alongside backers. The fact that it's being sold at $20, you know,
cheaper on Humble.
Yeah,
that was a big thing. Yeah, well. Humble ran out of codes really quickly.
It's like, wow. But again, like I think this is something that obviously is an interesting conversation to have around pricing games as well. Is when that sort of thing happens. We already had the situation with developers moving their game launch because of Silksong launching on today. But now there's going to be murmurings of developers being like, we can't sell our game for that cheap because we won't make back the money that a team like Team Cherry is going to make by being able to sell their game at that cheap, because, you know, they're going to be, I mean, we already know they probably would have sold, you know, millions of copies within the first 24 hours of this game. We'll see what the headlines are that we write for tomorrow, but it's going to be something astronomical. No doubt.
They say the player count. I mean, the player count's already at least over 1 million, you know, because you have 500,000 just on Steam. So,
it's going to be absurd, no doubt. And they've already said that they've got DLC plans that's going to be rolling out pretty consistently, apparently. So
once it doesn't balloon into another game.
Yeah. We did it again, guys.
Yeah, we did it again. Actually, we'll be back with you in 7 years. Like, just bear with us.
One thing I forgot to mention actually is the Switch 2 version is a Switch 2 version. So it does actually run at 120 frames on the handheld mode, and there is a mode on the TV version to have it run at 120 frames as well. But it looks great running on the handheld screen. I think people who played it at Gamescom said that it you know, first pointed that out, but there is a TV mode for that as well. But I don't have a 120 hertz TV to try that out. But I imagine on Xbox and PlayStation that's probably built in as well, because they also support that. You know, and also on PC. On the pricing thing, I actually wanted to add it. It's been an interesting year for stuff like that, because obviously Clair Obscur was $50 when that came out. AA game, I think, but obviously insanely, you know, good seller and stuff. It's been interesting to have, like, you know, you have like Microsoft come out with Outer Worlds and stuff and try to be like, okay, this is going to be $70. And Nintendo did that with Mario Kart, which was €90 for the physical edition here, which was crazy. And it's just so interesting to see. On one end, you've got like the big companies trying to be like, okay, the prices of, you know, AAA games need to be higher. Then on the lower end, you've got indies seemingly like really challenging that, you know, and coming out with really critically acclaimed games as a result.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, even like if you look at another game that will probably, once it drops, make some people want to move their release dates, but like Hades 2 is currently it's only £25. So it's like and it'll be interesting to see how they handle the full launch. Because I know when it went into early access, there was no build up to it. They just dropped into early access, and they got a little bit of criticism from other indie devs to say, like, okay, we couldn't adjust anything and no one's going to see our game on the Steam homepage now because you've just dropped it out of nowhere into early access. But I think
Rogue Prince of Persia had to delay its early access as well. And I think I joked actually on Blue Sky saying it'd be crazy if Hades 2 shadow dropped around when Rogue Prince of Persia shadow dropped or was supposed to come out, and the developer like replied to me with like a really vague gif, like being mad at me for saying that.
Oops.
It's like,
oh yeah, sure, that'd be great.
Horizon Zero Dawn thing all over again. It's like every time we try and bring out a Horizon game, something else is just like, I don't know. Do you want to play Legend of Zelda though? Like it's like, would you like to play Elden Ring? Like it's like, God damn it!
Yeah.
What again?
Yeah, but no, I think the pricing is very interesting. Obviously, we know that the budget for AAA games like massively ballooned, but sometimes it's very difficult to understand. Well, it's not difficult to understand. A lot of it's just CEO and executives higher up pay. I'm sure I've read something the other day about how much, and we're not going to talk about my feelings towards the guy who's in charge of EA because we already know, but like he gets paid an exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, how does that build into the amount of money that these AAA games have to make back versus what a AA and indie studios can do?
Yeah.
And you know, at a certain point, our players just going to be like, nah, we're not dealing with this anymore. Even like Helldivers 2 going on to Xbox, that's cheaper than your your Call of Duties or anything like that. If people are just like, if I can get the same or better when it comes to gameplay from a AA or an indie, am I going to, like, Microsoft had to walk back their Outer Worlds to pricing because people are just like, absolutely not. Also, why have you chosen the game which is like space capitalism bad actually?
Yeah, that was always But I always thought that the reason that they chose that one is so that they could, like they did, walk it back as a joke and just be like, see, we were actually just making fun of capitalism, you know?
Yeah. The $1 trillion business. We've done a good capitalism joke there, guys. Yeah, self pat the back.
Everyone thought it was funny, right? Right?
Yeah, it was such a good joke when we were going to charge you guys more for this game that we were actually suffering because people were saying that the pre-orders weren't doing too great and stuff. So yeah.
You should have seen all your faces. They look exactly like they do right now. Really angry. Well, nice little segue maybe there from you, V, with mentioning Helldivers, obviously, like with the pricing and such. Like, it's, again, I Gears of War Reloaded, which I know obviously is a remake of a game that was remastered originally, wasn't it? I think with Gears of War.
Yes, there was the Xbox One version.
Yes, the Ultimate Edition. Does everyone know what that was priced at, actually? Because
I think that was 40.
I was going to say
it was 40 euros.
Yeah, it's £40.
I was expecting it to be somewhere around the same area because, again, it's obviously an older game. It's smaller in scale and like that, but it's obviously all brought up to date with nice visuals and all the rest of it. And I know some extra content and stuff as well has been added.
Yeah, Oblivion was also 50, right? Oblivion was...
Yeah.
But Snake Eater is 60 or 70. Actually,
yes.
I think it's €70, but yeah, you never know.
Yeah. That's it. There's like with remakes and stuff like that, there is that wiggle room, I guess. It depends on the IP that you're bringing back, I think, and stuff like that, how much weight it has. Because Oblivion being a little bit more than the others makes sense because, again, Elder Scrolls, Oblivion's a lot of people's one of their favorites or their favorite from.
Same with Snake Eater. They did a lot to Snake Eater.
Very true. Yeah.
And I mean, suppose Oblivion was rebuilt in a brand new engine, which must have been a huge amount of work considering how weird the creation engine is. And, was it for Starfield that they said that they need to use the creation engine because it's what gives the object permanence to the game? So I don't know if everybody else in Skyrim has a room that's just full of cheese. I do.
My sister probably does.
Yeah. In Starfield, I made it my job to just collect they had little succulents, and I was like, I'm going to have a room full of tiny cactuses. Like, this is what I'm going to do. But I don't know. I've not heard anyone talk about if that object permanence still works correctly in Oblivion now that it's on Unreal Engine 5. Can I have a room full of buckets, for instance? And when I go back, the buckets are still there.
Yeah. From what I understand with the Unreal, the reason that Unreal is used for a lot of remakes, the ones that are built kind of on top of the original games, like Oblivion and Snake Eater, not something like Silent Hill, where that's like a full remake.
Yeah, from the ground up. Yeah.
The thing that I've heard is that basically they do kind of just build them, like rebuild the assets of the games. And it's not necessarily so much that like the physics engines or like anything, underlying is touched, but it's actually just stuff built on top of them, similar to kind of how Bluepoint has done their stuff like
Demon
Shadow of
Souls,
the Colossus
yeah.
and Demon Souls, where I think they've literally talked about essentially decompiling the original source and building it back from the assets that are on the disc that is released, or something vague like that I read a long time ago. Where it's building on top of it and then being able to add in quality of life features.
Yeah, and there's every difference between, I think, the way that they did it for Shadow of Colossus and Demon Souls, as far as the amount of what they did to change and things like that. Because
those are different kind of. There's different approaches to even remaking in those two remakes.
Exactly. Yeah. But it is interesting, and again, obviously we at the site were talking about Helldivers 2 and Gears of War Reloaded coming out, because of the exclusivity kind of conversation around it, with obviously these two titles being exclusive to one platform originally, and then at least crossing over to at least one other platform that they weren't originally on. Gears going on to, I think, War, possibly. I can't remember if has it got a Switch version by any chance? Have they done that? Have they posited that at all?
No, not yet. Anyways, I mean, they announced Indiana Jones for Switch, so maybe.
That's the thing. Like again, we've already seen quite a few go across, but again, they've not done as many because so many of them probably wouldn't be able to work on the Switch. Like Sea of Thieves, I imagine would be a bit of a struggle. I don't think
the Switch 2, I'd say, could probably maybe. It was on Xbox One, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah. So Switch 2 might be able to handle it, but because they obviously did Grounded and Hi-Fi Rush, I think, were the two that went across.
Hi-Fi Rush isn't on Switch yet.
Oh, is it not Hi-Fi Rush?
No.
I think that's Krafton's
Pentiment.
now, but Hi-Fi, Pentiment, yes.
Sorry.
And Grounded, Grounded is on
Grounded and Pentiment
Switch.
were the two that went to Switch when they did the first wave, and then those two alongside Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush, I think, were then
went to PlayStation.
They went to PlayStation. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Mark wrote a very good article outlining all of the stuff that's like moved over, and obviously the fact that Helldivers 2 is at the top of the charts on Xbox at the moment, and Gears of War Reloaded is in the top 10 for PlayStation. But within it, the Switch 2 is roughly as powerful as the Xbox Series S. So I assume we'll see a few games that were not able to be ported to the Switch 1 potentially get ported over to the Switch 2, because obviously they have to run on the Series S at the same time. So.
Yeah, probably Grounded 2 actually by the time that reaches 1.0.
Yeah, that'd be a great title to move across onto the Switch, absolutely. And if they could do things like crossplay with that as well, if possible, like that sort of thing would be amazing. It's obviously trickier with Switch, I imagine, because it's such different.
Well, they already do it with. Is Minecraft crossplay across all of the platforms?
Like I think even tablets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because and you can also log in with your Xbox account on Minecraft on all of the platforms it's available, and then you still earn achievements.
Which is very strange.
You can do that on Cuphead as well, weirdly.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And the Ori games on Switch. Yeah.
Fun. Yeah.
So I wouldn't surprise me if when they put Grounded 2 and stuff over that they do that with it on the Switch. So you can unlock your achievements over there as well. They usually have a different achievement list as well. So for people that like to double dip, I have all the achievements on Minecraft on like 3 different platforms. Not because I play Minecraft, because I was in an achievement hunting competition, and you can get them all in one server, and it takes 2 hours.
Amazing. But yeah, I mean, it is obviously interesting. It's something that's been going on now for a while, mainly from the Xbox camp moving their games, as we just said, onto other platforms. But we are now seeing it coming back the other way a little bit, at least from PlayStation. Our article kind of talks about a lot more about that in depth, with more facts and figures to actually kind of back all that up. And this is Jamie can't be here obviously to talk about with us today, but I do think it's sort of the beginning of the end, sort of kind of situation. That's how it feels to me, at least from the way that the two companies seem to behave now, how they talk about the idea of games being on other platforms and stuff. There's a lot less of there being a kind of, oh no, these are important to us. There feels like there's just a general kind of like acceptance that like we'll go where the money is, like that's what we'll do.
Those executives need their bonuses. How are they going to pay those bonuses unless They just accept the fact it's like your console exclusives are not going to make that money that we need anymore.
I mean, like, look at it this way, right? The Xbox ROG Ally is, or whatever it's called. It's out next month, right? Soon enough, there's going to be a thing with an Xbox logo on it that you'll be able to play Spider-Man on, and Horizon and everything. So, you know, it's just kind of where we're at now. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. I mean, people get games, good games. You know, that's good.
Yeah. And I think I would rather see a market where the platform holders are competing on what they can provide as far as services and hardware over the games that they are creating, you know, their sort of cattle, you know, from, as it were. Like they're just having these sort of farms where they just make the games and then keep them on their land, sort of thing. It's like, well, no, let them make their games wherever, let them roam free, and you just provide the best platform, and people will come for that, hopefully. You know, that should really be their kind of their modus operandi as far as I'm concerned. You know, give me the features and things that I want, and I'll pick your console over the other one.
Yeah. Well, there was some games. So I know Animal Well is now available on the Xbox, but when it first launched, it did not come to Xbox because there's specific puzzle in it where you either have to be able to use like a mouse or the touch feature on your PlayStation controller. I'm not going to.
I didn't know that.
I'm not going to spoil the puzzle, like,
of course.
But obviously Xbox had no way of doing that. You can you can attach a mouse and keyboard to your Xbox, obviously. But like that was apparently one of the reasons. Like there was specific features that were only offered by either PC with mouse and keyboard or specifically using your DualSense controller. So yeah, that's part of that hardware discussion, isn't it? It's like, well, if I want to use these very specific features, then I'm going to go to the platform that has them because they enhance the gameplay experience, as opposed to they're going to give us money for exclusivity. It's just like, no, it has to be on this platform because we wanted to use like the microphone or we wanted to use the touchpad or something like that. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it'd be easier to sell the sort of hardware side of things if more developers were committed to then using the features, obviously, because with something like, for example, PlayStation having, you know, all the excellent, you know, rumble features and stuff like that in their controller and their DualSense controller, there are only a handful of games I feel that really make use of that in a big way. Like Astrobot is one of those, for example, you know, where you really get that sense of like, oh, you went all out on like the sound, the actual feedback from it, like everything.
I got
This is an Astrobot t-shirt.
Yeah, I got it at the PlayStation concert.
Yeah. Oh boy. I love that. But yeah, you know, like that was one of those games where it was like, this is what these controllers are meant for. This is what they can do. This is what they're capable of. And then barely any other studios would really kind of attempt to do anything close to what they were doing. And if they were, it was probably around one particular function. You know, like I know obviously that with like Horizon and like the Pathless were two games that did stuff with the triggers because they had like the whole like reactive kind of triggers where like, you know, you could pull, you're pulling back a bow.
I don't like them. It always feels like when my friend first got his PlayStation 5, he recorded a bit where you hold down the trigger to like charge up the rocket. And he recorded a video of it on his phone, and he was like, "Is my PlayStation 5 controller broken? It's so loud, like, and the clattering of it sounds like something is loose inside." Like, and I was like, "I don't know." I had to go and fire up my PlayStation. I was like, "No, mine sounds the same." And he's like, "God damn!" like, and for all the games that have the triggers where you have to like do that with, I turn it off because I feel like it's going to break the controller. It does not feel sturdy enough for whatever feature that is. I'm like, nah, there's a bit of plastic in there that's holding on for dear life. Like, I'm like, switch off. Like,
have either of you played Deathloop? Because that actually had a cool mechanic where the gun would jam and it would lock the trigger that you would use to fire it. I always thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
They probably just didn't have that on Xbox, right?
Yeah. I think you're right, they didn't. Yeah. And that's the sort of thing, like, I feel like if it's something that you can kind of add in or take out without too much trouble, it'd be kind of cool to see more of that. But obviously, I understand that you don't want to just give yourself extra work for one platform. It doesn't really make sense. And again, the platform holders won't like to hear that you've got extra stuff in your game for the other platform over theirs and that sort of thing as well. I can see it all kicking up a bit of a stink.
That actually happens a lot of the time with Switch games, like Switch ports that come to other platforms. I'm failing to think of any right now, but I definitely know that there were some where you would hear that it would get announced for like another platform, and you'd be like, "Oh, really? They're gonna remove like the Joy-Con sensitivity or something?"
Yeah.
I think no, this isn't a great example, but stuff like No More Heroes, where obviously they have the motion control stuff. When they come to PlayStation, you just like shake the controller or something. That, on Xbox, I guess you probably just wiggle the sticks or something. But
probably.
There's certain examples of like third parties, like Square Enix games or something like that, where they've launched first on Nintendo, so they've kind of been like, oh, okay, we have it'll be like maybe in the launch year or whatever, like, oh, we've got some cool things we can do here. So then when they bring it to PlayStation, it's like, okay, well, that stuff needs to be stripped back or readapted. I need to think of a good example, because there definitely is an example of this happening around like the first year or two of the Switch.
I think Nintendo put more of a focus into games using the unique selling points of the hardware. Though,
the hardware usually just has more selling points, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
Other than the controller for the PlayStation, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean,
it'd be interesting to see. Sorry, you go.
No, I was going to say the last time the Xbox had anything like that was the Kinect, the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And we all know how
I
guess PlayStation also has VR as well.
And yes, yeah, they've got the VR thing going on as well. But yeah, honestly, like for any sort of gimmicks and stuff like that to try and show off or have their developers work on, like Xbox hasn't had anything like that, because smart delivery isn't that. That's just how your game is like, suspended obviously on your console. It's not like anything that exciting. It's very cool. It's a great function, and I absolutely love it on the series. But it's not as if it's like changing the way I play games in a big way. It just means I get to them quicker. Which is nice. But yeah,
I think it would be good to see once the ROG Ally and stuff like comes out, because I think you're meaning quick resume rather than smart delivery.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes, you're right.
The one that kind of freezes it while you can play another game.
Smart delivery is the one that moves it from different platforms that you're playing it on. Yeah. No,
but I think that smart delivery is a really good, and obviously it's not anything really to do with the hardware, it's all software side. But the fact that I can play a game on my Xbox and then fire it up on my PC, and the save is transferred over automatically. But but PlayStation and Nintendo do have a very odd relationship with cloud saves that Xbox does not have. So like certain games on Switch just doesn't have cloud saves. Pokemon, the one thing you're like, I don't want to lose all my Pokemon, how dare you? Like, in PlayStation, it's like you only get access to cloud saves if you've got an active PS Plus subscription. And then if you cancel it, all your cloud saves to get deleted after 6 months. Rep my Bloodborne save from PlayStation 4.
Like, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. It was one of those features that's like that is Xbox so much far ahead on that no one ever talks about. Because I put this version of Black Ops into my Xbox like 2 years ago, and it had my Xbox 360 cloud saved. It was just like continue, and I was like, "What do you mean continue?" And I was just like, "Oh no, like you played this like 10 years ago," and I was like, "Damn, you're right."
Yeah, even Nintendo has that, because I unsubscribed from the Nintendo Switch Online for like a year, and I resubscribed recently when I got the Switch 2, and all my saves were still there on the cloud. I think the masters of cloud saving is weird, because I'm not usually giving this company a bunch of kudos, but it's Ubisoft. Ubisoft is amazing. If you play one of their games, if you use like Ubisoft Connect and then you go to like another platform, it'll just have your save. Like you can.
Oh yeah.
I know that with Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown, a lot of people had the Switch version and one of the PC or console versions, because it would just, once you connected it to the internet, it would just carry the save over. You didn't have to pay for anything. It was all just built into Ubisoft servers, and I think they do that with like all of their games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, once you've got your account set up and everything like that, it's not too much of a hassle with that sort of like you connect and everything like that. Because I remember from all the Assassin's Creed games and Far Cry and things like that. Yeah.
Actually, CD Projekt does that as well, because I got Cyberpunk on Switch, and that had my Xbox save when I connected my account.
And how have you been
Cool.
finding that then, playing Cyberpunk on the Switch?
It's so good. Like I was actually really blown away. So I played the Series X version, and I played that kind of in all of its iterations, like from launch to Phantom
You
Liberty.
saw the journey.
Yeah, and that was a very prolonged playthrough, as you can imagine. But now, like, I'm playing the Switch version, fully completed, and it's like the version on Switch is like, I don't know, it's honestly just exactly what I would want from a handheld version. Like, obviously, it's not got the graphical fidelity of the Series X version before the Switch's screen, and then even docked. With the exception of just it being 30 frames, it looks great. Like it's Cyberpunk. It's not like a condensed version. It's not like like a watered down version or anything like that. It's the game. It runs well. Like I don't think I've mainly noticed like one or two frame drops when you're really like driving through the city. But as far as like ports go, it's like the best looking thing I've seen on the Switch yet, just in terms of fidelity.
Wow. Well,
And then
played CD Projekt Red.
shooting is a little difficult though, just because of Nintendo's controls. That's like my only criticism.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, again, it's cool to hear that, because again, there was a lot of noise coming out of Gamescom, I believe, about things like Elden Ring not running very well on the Switch 2 and things like that. So I think there's obviously going to be a meeting of like the developers with the software, and obviously Nintendo with their hardware, and what they can get to, what they can reach. But if you can manage things like that with a game like Cyberpunk, I feel like you should be able to find a solid benchmark foundation for games like Elden Ring as well. I guess it's obviously using things like the CPU in different ways. It's going to be more intense in other aspects of the game.
FromSoft and optimization have never had a great relationship either, to be fair.
Yeah,
but I did hear, like at Gamescom, I heard people saying that obviously Elden Ring was running rough. Apparently Final Fantasy was running great, but Star Wars, people were saying, was not running great, and now it's out and it's apparently running fine. Like it runs 30 smooth. And then the same with Cronos. I heard that Cronos was also like a wonky 30 at Gamescom, and then suddenly just getting it over the finish line, it runs fine now. So it seems like that optimization is really coming down like to the wire on like a lot of them.
And it's interesting.
I don't expect that Elden Ring will run great for a while, but as you say, that's FromSoft, and especially if you're doing online and they're incredibly shitty netcode, like you just like a PvP staple in all FromSoft games. It's like, am I bad at the game, or is the netcode just trash? It's like
isn't Duskbloods an online only game, and that's a Switch 2 exclusive?
It's gonna be really
it's gonna be so fun. Just like, I killed you. I definitely killed you. It's like, no, what are you talking about? I'm over here. You just like zap across the screen.
Dial-up
like
connection.
Get backstabbed from like 6 meters away. You just like, what the fuck is happening here?
I'm curious about Cronos. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm curious about it because it's out tomorrow. I'm still a little on the fence about it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I wasn't one reviewing it. Of course, Russell did our review, but I have played it through it because I was doing guide material for it. I will probably end up having to do a bit more to go back and get some extra bits, because it is a linearly structured game with tiny bits of backtracking within areas, as it were. But sort of as you progress through the game, you cannot revisit old areas you've been to. So if you've left something behind, if you didn't pick up a collectible, you can't go back and get it, that sort of thing. There's no chapter select, there's nothing like that. It's just manual saves and one auto save, and you do the best you can, as it were. I know Russell sort of pushed back a little bit more on the Dead Space comparisons to the game. It said it felt more like, to him, like a Resi or Silent Hill. I would just argue it feels very much like it's a mixture of the two camps of survival horror. Like, to me, like if you're putting them into two different categories, I think it just feels very much like Bloober Team took a lot of inspiration from, no doubt, working on Silent Hill 2 remake, but also just clearly being fans of horror and survival horror, and looking at games like Resident Evil and Dead Space and being like, let's make our version of these sorts of IP. And I've really, really enjoyed it. As somebody who's not great at shooting, whether it's first or third person, I was worried about whether or not it'd be too difficult, because it was going to be a demanding game where you can't rely on any melee combats, really, to any extent. There is, you can obviously hit stuff and stomp on things a la Dead Space, but that's not for combat purposes. Like it's like a last resort type thing. But there's obviously enough of lenience, I think, in the shooting, where I've been able to have a really good time with it and not feel completely overwhelmed all the time. There have definitely been moments where I've been just sort of like running around, being like, shit, I've got no ammo. I've got no none of my like flamethrower rounds, so I can like burn the area around me and just like stun the enemy, stun lock them for a bit or whatever. But yeah, it's a very tense, demanding kind of game in that respect, where you will finish fights being like, I have got like nothing left. I am completely spent, and I know I can get probably to the next checkpoint, but I may have to run. Like I may just be that, like, as soon as I hear a noise of an enemy, it's just like, just run, just peg it through the door, hope that you can make it past like an obstacle that you move out the way, like a filing cabinet that's fallen over in the hallway, and the traveler, like, you hold down the button, they'll move between it and they'll fall back behind them, creating a block. So if you find these like little gates almost to like charge past enemies that are chasing after you, get that out the way, they won't be able to follow you. So you're like a moment's reprieve to just be like, shit, I'm alive. Okay, where do I go? Where am I meant to be going? And trying to then pick up where you are from there. And I've really enjoyed it. Cool vibes, very interesting kind of art direction as always with Bloober Team. The sort of mixture of Eastern European brutalism with like retro futurism is very cool, very my sort of thing. And yeah, I'm impressed with a lot of the elements of it that I otherwise wouldn't have gone into, being like, oh, I'm going to really enjoy this side of it. For example, like, love Dead Space to bits, one of my favorite games, and having Isaac as a silent protagonist, in the first game in particular, obviously is like, well, like pretty much silent as well. Like, but if he says anything at all, I can't remember. But like the Traveler, your character talks a decent amount because they're recording what they've seen and stuff like that. But then they will communicate with other characters, and the voice acting is very, very, very cool for a, again, faceless protagonist where you can't get their emotions from what they look like. But yeah, I'm dead impressed with that. I would say about the same score that Russell gave it on his review, maybe a little bit higher myself, maybe 0.5 more. But yeah, I would highly recommend it for survival horror fans who enjoyed Resident Evil, Dead Space, or Silent Hill, or any of those.
Is the narrative any good, or like
it's
just because?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's this sort of blend of. I feel like it's sort of it's again, it feels like it's inspired by the fact that we've all gone through this pandemic, and I've had that a few years back. It's one of those games where it's like dealing with this like virus that has completely like destroyed humanity, and you are now in the future as the traveler, finding these dive points to go back in time to then extract individuals who are important according to the organization you work for, which is called the Collective. And of course, it's all very sort of shadowy, kind of just like, why are they having you do this? You don't ask questions, you just do what you're told, as is the mantras that they repeat to themselves, such as our calling, which is what they just repeat to each other whenever like travelers meet and stuff like that. It's like their ethos. So they don't question, they just do the job. And your characters sort of finding out stuff about what is referred to as the change, which is this big event that occurred that has like caused humanity to sort of mutate and merge and all this sort of stuff and destroy the world. So you're piecing it together. You're finding people who know stuff, and thus you're trying to chase it down. But you're then maybe finding out that like, oh, did we have a part to play in it? They're some of the characters you'll meet will be like, oh, I've seen you before, sort of thing. There's a lot of like, it very much gets into sort of like a kind of timey-wimey kind of situation where, because you're traveling backwards and forwards in time and things like that, it's sort of what's happened before, what's already happened, who did what. You know, there's a bit of that going on.
I got Returnal vibes from it, and that seems appropriate.
Yeah, certainly. I would. Yeah, I haven't played Returnal, but like it definitely has that same kind of like what feels like kind of like uneasy kind of horror to it, that sort of psychological kind of edge, which I think Returnal seemed to convey with its screen, at least with its cutscenes in particular, with like sort of visiting your family home whilst you're on this alien planet that you're stranded on and stuff like that. It's like, okay, this is getting weird.
I just ask mainly about the narrative because, like, obviously, I love what Bloober Team did with the Silent Hill 2 remakes narrative. I have my own criticisms as somebody who's like holds the original in a very high regard, but I think narratively they did a really good job with it, and even like kind of lifted it up in some areas that I wasn't expecting. But in the past, I've had criticisms of Bloober Team's kind of writing for some of their games, and I know that a lot of other people have as well. And it seems like this one should steer clear of that based on kind of the synopsis kind of that you've given. But like stuff like The Medium and Observer, they had their issues, although I did like those games.
Yes.
But yeah, narratively, they did have their issues.
I rate both those quite highly. In particular, The Observer. In particular because it is Rutger Hauer, the actor's
Observer is great
in anything, and I love him as an actor. I love Blade Runner, and grew up with that sort of like his monologue at the end of that film, such a big cinema moment for me. So like him being an observer is such a cool thing for me. But you're right though. Really I completely agree though that there have been times when they've not approached certain topic matter with the grace and the kind of nuance required. The Medium in particular, like there was some stuff with that where you're just like, we moved a couple decades past this.
Yeah, it needed another draft, maybe. Yeah, I would say, but I didn't think, I'm not like, super. I wasn't as hung up on it as other people, but I definitely I had my fears going into the Silent Hill 2 remake, but actually thought that they knocked it out of the park on a lot of that stuff in the way that they handled it, especially with Angela, who's one of my favorite characters in that game.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's not going to wow anybody as far as narrative is concerned. I think most people will be either just like, that was good fun, or I don't really know what was going on, but it was cool. You'll fall into one of those two camps, but I don't think many people are going to walk away from Cronos being like, oh, that story really stuck with me. Like, I really resonated with those characters. Maybe one or two, I'm sure will. But yeah, it strikes me more as a we want to try and replicate the survival horror of these games and gameplay and atmosphere and stuff like that. Maybe not quite so much in narrative. I feel like in narrative it leans more towards Dead Space, which is very much taking off of like Alien and that sort of stuff. So it's like I think it's leaning more into that narrative side of stuff, maybe more so than the Medium was, and games like Silent Hill do.
No, that's cool. Because they've Silent Hill 2 was their first game at like traditional combat, so it makes sense that this one would be more focused on that and the wider levels and stuff like that. That different kind of design approach, and it sounds interesting. I might check it out before Silent Hill F comes out if I get a chance.
I'd recommend it. I absolutely would. I think the combat's really good. I think they made it their own, as much as it is more third person over the shoulder, kind of like survival horror game gunplay. But like they've given it its own kind of like flair and stuff, which is really cool. I can't think of a good segue for this, but we're going to be closing out soon. So speaking of people who use guns a lot, James Bond.
I knew that's what you were going to say. I was like, dudes with guns.
There we go. There we did it. We did it. We brought it around, guys. We brought it around. So, of course, 007 State of Play, 007 First Light is the subtitle for the game, I believe. Obviously, IO Interactive. But yes, it was at the PlayStation State of Play yesterday. Daire, you and I have watched it, I believe, but V, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I have not seen it yet, but I am a big fan of IO Interactive, so it'll be interesting to see what they do differently, given it's actually much more story-based than the Hitman, especially the new Hitman trilogy, which does have its story. It's got story moments, but you know the fun of it is that you replay the levels over and over again to see how ridiculously you can kill people. Which is my favorite part about it. Like, just like, how many people can I kill with a homing briefcase? Like, I'm going to do it. Like,
that's why my son likes them. So yeah.
That's why they're fun.
Yeah, exactly. But what's your feeling then on a young James Bond then?
We spoke about this, I think, a little bit after the trailer was released. At Summer Games Fest.
You're right.
And
yes.
I wasn't fully sold on a young James Bond, but I think I'm in the minority of this. And I think probably when I go and look at some of the other trailers and like see I know that they've spoken about why they chose like a younger James Bond and things like that. But yeah, I think we watched a lot of James Bond movies when I was growing up, and obviously you don't really get that perspective. So it's obviously colors my view of the character quite a bit. But yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with it, and you know, I suppose it will make the gameplay a little bit, make it make more sense as a game, because you don't. Hitman is great because he is Hitman, and it's just like you're good at everything. Like you can just do whatever you want. But if you're trying to put more of a narrative in it, and there's like more build up throughout the game, it doesn't really make sense, and it wouldn't differentiate itself as much from the Hitman series if you're like just super competent right out the gate. So I understand why. I understand the decision from a gameplay perspective. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely recommend checking out the State of Play gameplay, because it does show off a nice variety of what you can expect from it. From sort of your more espionage disguise based stuff with him, sort of infiltrating. You've got driving with like a chase that goes on. You've got a whole couple of combat sequences, both melee, like hand to hand, because they've got what I think is probably one of the most interesting things to come out of it was learning how they've worked the license to kill into it, whereby he can't kill people until it like activates. It's literally like a thing that gets activated, whereby if he starts being shot at by people, then they're like, oh, if they're starting to shoot at you, oh fuck it, go ahead, you're good to go, man. Like guns blazing. They're all they've all signed their own death warrant at this point.
I won't spoil it, but just because you haven't seen it yet, but the first moment in which he does kill somebody, I don't know if you caught it, but it's a really cool Easter egg. I'm not familiar with the James Bond movie at all, but it's something that even I recognized. The way that they frame it is really, really cool.
Yeah, very clever. It was very cool when they did it. But yeah, actually, speaking of which, Daire, what's your opinion? Because you shared with us obviously before we started, so I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so I've never seen any of the Bond movies. I don't really have much familiarity with them, to be honest. I have family members who like love them, but it's never been. I've just never really been exposed to it. I've always meant to watch them, but I just never did. But now I'm kind of avoiding them because I'm like, okay, no, I actually want to go into this one with no familiarity and just see how that works, because it is like a young James Bond. It's like an origin story kind of thing. It's like the video game James Bond, and I thought this like showcase, the presentation was really cool, mainly because like I was like a kid and like a teenager when the Uncharted games were coming out. So I have like a very deep like nostalgia and like a love in my heart for those games. And this essentially just looked like a blend of Uncharted with Hitman. You've got like those set pieces and the car chases and the airplane stuff of like Uncharted, with a more fleshed out and a more like widely scoped stealth system that has a lot of mechanics, has a lot of like variety, and that seems really cool because I obviously love the Hitman games much like you guys, and I love that trilogy that they just did. This seemed to be a little bit more railroaded than those, because, or at least just in the footage they showed, because it is following like a linear narrative, and you're probably going from like level to level or area to area, and then doing like a big giant, mostly kind of guided set piece. And it's a lot of stuff that IO has never done before in terms of like those giant, set pieces, but then also like the shooting galleries and stuff. There's like a big shootout sequence at one point, but it seems like the stealth stuff is exactly what you would want from them. Like it's there, it's fully fleshed out, and it looks like there's a lot of different, like, it looks like what we saw in the state of play was one option out of many ways of going about, tackling the situation that's presented. And yeah, I'm curious to see if they do kind of like a Last of Us style thing where you can go through after you finish the game and just do the stealth sequences to like play around with the sandbox there. Because I think a lot of people will miss Hitman's like structure, the level based structure.
Yeah.
With it being like a narrative.
It wouldn't surprise me if they just added like a challenge mode afterwards, where it's like different levels redone, but you have like different challenges based on like, oh, you can only do this, or like different guards are now in the game, different rules for this level, whatever it might be. Yeah, you could do some really fun stuff with that, definitely.
Yeah, I assume they will have like, it's because it's in Hitman, the new Hitman's, it's like the contracts mode, isn't it? So it's like can take on the levels, but with very specific restrictions. Or you can just, but they presumably won't be as silly as they can get in Hitman. It's like the James Bond IP. I assume at no point can you dress up as a flamingo and then exit the level by flying off by just flapping your arms.
Unlikely.
I mean,
I've never seen any of those movies, but some of them look pretty silly to me. I've seen some clips that are pretty out there.
Yeah, some of the older ones are peak like camp, I would say. Like, and I'm sure people who are diehard James Bond fans would be like, no, so Man it's not camp at all. And I'm like, okay, you go back and watch Man with the Golden Gun and tell me it's not camp. Like, you do it.
And
it's like how some Doctor Who fans get, this is all very serious. It needs to be taken very seriously.
Serious business.
This is serious business. All right, the Dalek is the scariest thing known to man. I say this as a huge Doctor Who fan. I think all British institutions just have that underlying current of just, it's a bit camp, isn't it? Like,
pretty much.
I will say, for this one, the actor playing James Bond was in the state of play, and it's another Irish James Bond. So we got two now.
Two of them
at least that I know of. There might actually be more, but we got Pierce Brosnan, and I don't know what this guy's name is.
No,
I don't know.
But no,
Pierce Brosnan is my favorite Bond, so I'm excited for that. And the Pierce Brosnan movies are super camp. Like, they're so comic book levels of camp. Like,
it definitely feels like he's going for that sort of type of Bond as well, because he's definitely as quippy as him. Like, there's a lot of jokes being said.
That was the Uncharted connection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
that was the thing with the Uncharted connection, is that he's very Nathan Drake-y in his quippiness and his kind of brashness, which I found quite endearing. But not knowing the character, I do think that I have heard that there's some people that were frustrated with that. But I did, listening to some previews, apparently people got to see it at Gamescom and stuff, and that is something that the developers have been upfront and been like, this is an origin story, that is something that they're going to confront with the narrative.
Yeah, and I think again that goes into like how much James Bond you've probably watched versus like who's your favorite Bond, because like the Daniel Craig Bond movies are significantly more serious than any of the James Bond films that I sort of watched when I was growing up. But like I would say, Pierce Brosnan, Roger Moore, they're incredibly quippy and again quite camp. So I think it's a bit like, if your benchmark for Bond is like a very much more realistic, a little bit more grounded and very serious business, which is the Daniel Craig ones, then potentially that type of Bond you might not be as much of a fan of, but that's the type of James Bond that I like. Like I'm like, do all the stupid gadgets. Like, the car's got guns on it. Like, do it.
Exactly. Give him his laser watch and stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
No, I thought it looked great fun. I mean, I'm excited to see more of it whenever we get to. And I agree with you, Daire. I think it looks like an interesting blend of sort of Hitman and Uncharted, which is, I kind of think like, that kind of sums up, I think, what Bond is. When you just think about it, like that's pretty much what he spends most of his time doing, is either one of those two activities.
Sign me up.
Yeah. No, it does sound good.
That's good.
But
it's out in March as well.
Yeah, it's quite soon, which is nice. You don't have to wait too long. You know, hopefully
there's a Switch 2 version too.
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be interesting.
that.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I heard the Hitman wasn't great on Switch 2 though, so.
No, I've not played. I've only ever played it on Xbox, so I'm not entirely sure. But you'd assume again if the Switch 2 is as powerful as the Series S. Not that I've played the Hitman games on the Series S, but I've not heard anyone say that they're particularly bad or anything like that on Series S. I assume they just do. It's quicker for them to just stop loading if you decide that I'm going to go into the level and see how many people I can kill. Like just like pile all the bodies up in the corner. Like it's fine. And
don't look in this cupboard.
Like, stop this. This is not what this game is for. And it's like, do I want? Like everyone goes in the wood chipper.
There's plenty of room.
Yeah. Once you go through the wood chipper, there's room for everybody. Like you just mulch like at that point. Like, you need to play the Hitman games, Harry. They're so fun.
It's true. It does sound good. Human mulch.
The thing with the reason that I bring up the Switch 2 version is because I don't know if you agree with me, Harry, but like the stuff in the state of play was pretty like big budget, big spectacle and stuff, and the frames were dropping in the state of play, like to a surprising degree.
Yeah,
and it said played on a PS5 Pro. Now, obviously, it's not out for another, however many months. So, like,
half a year almost.
Yeah, they have time to optimize. Like I was saying, like a lot of that stuff probably happens like right at, down to the wire. Yeah. But just I'm very curious to see how that, turns out on Switch 2, just because it's like, it's a big looking game.
Yeah, and that's it. Like with that level they showed us, it feels like they maybe hopefully they picked a level which is quite large, because obviously you have the whole bit at the house, and then obviously the car chase leading into the whole bit on the airport tarmac like that. So you can assume that that is quite a large level as far as like what is being loaded up in order for you to play, because there was no loading screens obviously for any of this. It was all seamlessly from one point to the next.
Oh yeah.
So it's all there ready to go, it would seem. And I imagine we'll get it to a place where they will offer, as is always the case, your performance mode, your quality mode, and maybe on the Pro you've got an optimized or whatever it might be, a kind of we've managed to balance balanced mode or something like that. But otherwise, I think we can come to expect another case of like, hey, you pick whichever one you want. You want your 60 frames, or you want your better shadows and stuff like that. But yeah, I think Switch 2 will be I can see that being a challenge. I mean, again, as we said, it's going to go on to Series S and stuff like that. They can do it on that, and they should be able to do it Switch 2. But who knows? This is it seems like a strange one where some people are able to get it, and then other people really struggle with it.
I mean, Cyberpunk is also a great looking game though, and a very big, open game, and my eyes have been open now to like, that it's like, whoa, this thing can do that.
That's it. So so we know it can be done. It's just whether or not either they can do it themselves, then the developers, or they want to. Do it.
I think Hitman leaves a bit of a weird precedent though, because I know that did have, I don't know, maybe they've patched it by now, but I know that did have issues when it launched on Switch 2. So that kind of makes me like, is it going to be kind of like Mortal Kombat 1 where it just looks really wonky on the original Switch, but it'll look like that on Switch 2?
Yeah, rather not. I'm sure they'll figure something out, hopefully, where people can get a good experience. But it is what it is. You have your hardware, and you get what you get on that hardware.
I think, I mean, obviously I've not played it on the Switch or the Switch 2, but just looking at the recommended specs for Hitman World of Assassination on PC and knowing like how good it looks on Xbox Series X, the recommended specs are low. So obviously IO Interactive they do not have the FromSoft issue, which is not being able to optimize. So
well, it was on PS4.
Yeah, and I think it looks and plays really well, especially like the Dubai level. Is it with all the reflections and stuff. So yeah, hopefully they'll just do a little work on the optimization so it looks fantastic. Because I remember when I picked up Hitman 3 after playing the first two, playing that Dubai level and just being like, God damn, this looks amazing. Like,
Yeah, that was a very early PS5 and Series X game as well.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
It was like
really close to launch. Yeah.
it was like January, and the
Yeah.
consoles came out in November.
Yeah. Super close. Launch window, absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
you'd say that definitely.
I remember having to download the PlayStation 4 version to use the VR mode, even
Oh,
though I
yeah.
was using it on a
God,
PS5.
What a nightmare. Oh,
And the VR mode was terrible. It looked really
Oh.
bad.
that's a
I think it's quite
'Cause
good
it was-
now, actually. I might
Well, it was
download it on
PSVR
Steam
1.
and play it on my MetaQuest. So all I've been doing is play Beat Saber. So I might be like, you know what? Now I'm just going to be Hitman in the living room. I'll probably end up killing myself, like knocking something over, like falling over something on the floor. Like, but no, yeah, it'll be fun.
Oh,
Yeah, the version I played though was on the PSVR 1, so like the textures were like taking a few seconds to load in right up to your face and stuff. You know, it was chugging along, and you had to have that awful setup with the camera and the PlayStation Move ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to make you feel like a hitman.
Oh yeah, felt like a loser.
Right. Why don't we finish off then, guys, with, of course, what we are looking forward to playing. I will quickly start, if that's all right with you two. And I will say, because it showed up today for me, I'm looking forward to playing Hell is Us. Very excited for this one. One of my most anticipated for the year, ever since seeing it first shown off. I think it was last year at a State of Play, I think, or Showcase, something like that, possibly. I think it was a PlayStation. But yes, very, very excited for that. It was great to have a hands-off preview with one of the team members over at Rogue Factor, Simon Gerard. And yeah, it was great chatting with him about the game and getting some more info on it. And now, yeah, I get to jump in myself and get the full experience, which is great. And I might even help Adam out with a few guides, who knows. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to playing. Daire, what about you? What are you looking forward to playing?
First of all, I love the physical media representation.
Whenever I can.
All of my shelves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously I'm looking forward to playing more Hollow Knight. I mentioned earlier the Indiana Jones DLC is out. I might check that out as well. And I'm mulling over on Cronos now that you mentioned it as well, but you know, I need to move some stuff out of the way first. In terms of in the next week, like what's releasing, I'm not necessarily looking forward to it, but I did put my name down for Bubsy, the Bubsy collection. So we'll see if a code comes through for that. That'll be, I don't know if it'll be fun, but you know.
An experience.
It'll be something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never played any of them, so we'll see. That new one actually kind of looks good. So
I played the demo of the new 140 at Gamescom and had a great time. I really enjoyed it. It was good fun.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks great fun. And I played all the old ones, and 3D is awful. It is absolutely one of the worst games ever made.
You see, they say in the new collection that they fixed the controls for that, but I feel like that would ruin a bit of the charm.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like I kind of almost hope they've said that just purely like, psych, no, we didn't. They're still crap.
Yeah.
Still
it's like when they did that with the Tomb Raider collection, and it was just a different game. You know, not having the tank controls.
Yeah, felt completely different. Absolutely, completely agree. But yeah, I look forward to hearing what your thoughts are on that. Hopefully, we get a code for it. But yeah,
if we get it in, yeah,
that'd be great. What about you, V? Bring us home.
I am looking forward to a game that you and I played the demo of ages ago, actually, that got delayed. But next Thursday I'm sure it's Thursday. Is the release of Shape of Dreams.
Indeed.
Which is like a co-op action roguelike that plays a little bit like a MOBA. It's like a top-down. But yeah, Harry and I played this ages ago, like February or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Actually, no, yeah, probably not, yeah.
Yeah, for the demo disc, and had a great time of it. But only if I could get the very specific spell that I wanted, because I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to do anything else because I am quite bad at video games. But yeah, it is looking really, like, the full release is looking really fun. I think when we played it, there was like 3 unlockable characters in the demo, but on full release, there's going to be 8. So it'll be exciting to see what some of the other ones do. There looks like there's some more magic characters, and a cool, like, samurai-looking guy, which I feel like I'll be excited to try out. But yeah, the demo was really, really fun. I think one of the evenings that we played it for like 5 hours.
Yeah, it was
just which was great fun. Yeah, we did have some good runs. We got right to the final boss of the demo, I think. I think we like immediately got pretty badly beaten, but we did do very well actually when we were playing it.
Yeah.
And I think it's got 4-player co-op, so it'd be good to try and get some of the guys on for a community game night or something like that. Anyone who's interested in sort of action roguelikes for the full release.
Yeah,
but yeah, that is what I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
I think they announced the price for it as well, and I think they said it's like $24.99. That is, I think, is what they were saying, around that sort of price range. So it's not going to be too expensive either, which is good.
No, absolutely. But yeah, it's a very fun game. I would recommend. And the demo is still available. You can play the prologue of it, or you can play the full demo. It's still available on Steam. If anyone wants to go and check it out before the game comes out next Thursday. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I do like a little action roguelike, and we've all been playing, I think, quite a lot of co-op games this year because there seems to be so many of them. So yeah, I'm excited to have another one to add to the rotation, in case we get sick of me falling off the mountain anytime we play Peak, which happens all the time. So, I might be a little bit better at this one. You never know. Like,
I need to get in on that. I haven't played Peak yet, and I'm dying to.
You'll have to join us, definitely.
You'll have to join.
Yeah.
Adi always has to bugle. He must.
I'll have to play it through freaking GeForce or something because I don't have a PC to play it on. I have a Steam Deck.
Yeah,
definitely.
It is super fun. Yeah. Adi has the bugle. Harry's generally in charge of Bing Bong because we must get Bing Bong to the top of the mountain at all costs. And I usually carry lots of healing items, and then immediately when we get to like the 3rd biome, just yeet myself straight off the side of a cliff, just like, meh. And then it's like, oh, where are they? Because it's got the proximity chat. It's like, where are you? And obviously I can't see anything because I'm just dead in the bottom of a canyon. And then we'll jump scare everyone by out like a piece. Like, it's me.
I'm back.
I fell.
You're dead. I'm like, oh.
I fell. I didn't mean it. I fell. Like.
No, we'll definitely get you on that with us, Daire, because it's great fun.
That sounds great.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we'll finish up the episode there, everybody. So first and foremost, thank you to both of you. Thank you, Daire, in particular, for joining us for your first episode and your first guest appearance, as it were. I hope you enjoyed it.
That was great. Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. V, of course, thank you for being here as always. And thank you to everybody at home for listening and watching. Please, if you enjoyed today's episode, leave a like. If you have anything you'd like to share with us or any feedback, or you'd like to answer any of the questions we had during this episode, leave them in the comment section below. And please consider subscribing if you'd like to get more of this sort of content. Head over to the gameofsocialclub.ca for all of our written content, including everything we mentioned that is also in the description below. Like Mark's editorial on exclusivity and all the reviews and guides we've got coming out right now. But yeah, otherwise, though, take care of yourself, take care of each other, play some great games, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.